Good morning all. It's Saturday, August 30th. I'm back on the 540. Clutch variators done. Watch those videos. We're going to get this buttoned up and we're going to try today. It's going to be a big day. Get this all buttoned up. Get the unloading system hooked up. Check all the bearings in it. Same goes for up there. Do a quick check on the chain, etc. And make sure that we're all good to go there. Here we go. We're getting started. Thanks for watching. Okay, things are coming along. I am getting this bolted in next. Right here, I have this built up and ready. That's part of the unloading mechanism. All right, got the first portion in. Make sure you put your wall back around the traction drive belt there. So now I got to get the unloading belt on, and we got to get this bracket in to put this off. You can see how clustered this gets in here. It gets pretty tight, and that's why it's just good to tear her down and work on her properly. Don't forget the all-important snap ring that goes there. Got all those bolts in. I haven't connected any of that permanently till I get the new unloading belt on. That will be next after the snap ring. Number 4 on the belt diagram in your parts book, 832878 M1 tank unloading drive. Got mine from Abilene Machine, and they sent a HC 0845. I imagine this is just a C-section 84. Alright guys, moving right along. Got this adjusted and my double nut on. Now I have to get the grease zerk right in there. And I got this all hooked up and took all the play out of them. So that should stop a lot of chatter and noise. Unloading belt, that was a challenge, and I've got an observation. This is the spring, it keeps it tight. It's on a pivot right back here. And you can see it right in there maybe. The old one had a idler that slid on a spacer. You just moved it up by hand and tightened it down. Let me show you. Right here, this is ready to go back into the 300. I've noticed is, when I went to hook this back up, this spring had broke off about right here. So I had nothing to lose, and today's Saturday and I didn't want to drive to the dealer, and they probably don't have it anyway. I heated up the remaining part, bent it back 90 degrees, curled it around so that it would hook again. If the temperance is lost, I have nothing to lose because I had a broken spring anyway. Now, that being said, same problem on that machine. Has a aftermarket found at a hardware spring on there. I'm thinking these springs are a weakness and is what it is, but I got it on there and it was all I could do to pull that back, and my son popped the belt on. And then this you should be able to turn by hand without the engine running because it's riding in there until you engage the lever and pop over center, and then it's a driving the unload. So I got that adjusted right there with a nice snap in the cab. Guys, we got our bracket on, everything bolted in and aligned, ready for the platform to slide back in here, and it's all looking good. We have this support bracket. What we got to do now is go make us some new wooden circles. We have a wood shop, so we should be able to make those and investigate the chain we need. So I'll catch back up with you. This is all, the mice had chewed on my flasher wire. I'm not wanting to get into wiring right now. So I just took that loose from right in through here. Rolled it up there, taped it up so it doesn't short out because there is some lights that work on here. That's for another day. We've got that soaking. We're going to replace that. It's broke loose. That should spin with the fan. We got to put a gasket here, little incidentals. Unloading mechanism is what we're concentrating on, and then we'll be pulling the throat, going to the other side, and should be looking pretty good. So guys, we discovered something. We had to use our magnifying glass. We discovered that our chains are original. They have red paint on them still, and they say Massey, they say MF Germany. We had to use a magnifying glass, but they have a lot of play. I want you to notate that one over there. That's the long one. Look how much arch it has. And you can also, if you look close here, come up right here, you can see movement back and forth of the length long ways. I don't know if it transfers on the camera, but these chains are shot. Okay, this is notorious. I took this off. This cover covers your gears under here. This is notorious for filling up with dirt, and then it also that could be a bearing seal right there, the upper bearing, so we'll have to check it. Water runs in your hopper, and then it can't get out of here. I've seen guys have drilled holes in this to make it perforated. So this is something that you definitely want to check. We might be pulling this shaft here and replacing the upper bearing that goes up here. We'll have to inspect it, see what we come up with. But this is not a good sign. This is something you want to check when you get your combine, getting it ready for harvest, because nobody looks in here. Okay, we have this shaft. I was able to knock this bearing off. It's just retained by a nut and a washer and a spacer. So I was able to knock it off that way. And then we had to pull this bearing. It pulls really hard. These are tough. But once you get that bearing off over there, you can move it back, and you could have used a cutting wheel and just cut the bearing off. But we chose to pull it because we could get the puller behind it. So then this comes out then by doing what I just did. It comes out, it's like this, so you pull it back, you tilt it down and out, and you have this, and we have some wear here, pretty pronounced wear on the gear, and this is welded, so this would have to be bought as a piece. It's the weekend. I may build those up and buff them down. It's not rocket science meshing in here. We'll take a look and see what we have in stock also. Alright, you can see all the rust that I just got. Here's another part of my seal of my bearing. And then I'll take you up here and you can see how bad the bearing is. There we go. We got a bearing out. Alright guys, we have everything out. The 300 shaft is not the same. This bearing shaft diameter would be smaller. The gear, everything's in the correct spot. And this is all one size, like 1 inch or something. I haven't mic'd it. This goes up to 1.25 inches, so it's a little beefier. So you can't use a 300. You could actually do that if you had all the flangettes from the 300, which I do, and the little bearings. It should all fit and go in. You just wouldn't be as robust. I'm going to work with the one that came out of it. It's the weekend. There's no way I'm going to get parts through all my extra bearings. I found 2 bearings over there that will work on the upright and the out. And then this is an 1.25 inch bearing. And we should have it over in our stock. I think we'll have an 1.25 inch with a lock collar on it. So not worried about that. Heading over to get all these parts cleaned up and get ready to put this back together. I want to knock this bottom out this weekend yet. Okay guys, it's the next afternoon. Luckily, it's the weekend. We had our bearings in stock to go back under there, and the bigger bearing we didn't have, but we had it in our supply over in the shop. An 1.25 inch bearing with a lock collar. It's going to be a true pitch, I'm sure, which is China. This came from the local Rural King years ago. We had it in stock. So we had everything to keep going. I was a little worried. There's these special shims here that are shot on the 540. But the combine that I took apart, we had this unit here, just laying outside in front of the shop on the cement. So it has more than enough shims, and they measure exactly what the book says. So we're good to go there. Here's our special spacer washer and our snap rings. Got plenty to choose from. Being the weekend, I didn't even price this. It's probably pricey. I took the liberty of using the MIG welder and a flap disc, and I built up my teeth. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it will, and it should be better than what we had. Built them up and just shaped them by hand. It took about an hour to clean all of this parts. You can see this one has a minute amount of wear. This goes up on the auger. I'm going to leave that. That should give me a little forgiveness if I got some of these wrong. But I think they're going to work just fine. And I don't know how much I saved if this works, but it was worth it to me. We got our cover. We had no good covers on the other 540. It was worse. So you can see there it's a little bit rusted out, but that's okay because we cut it out and then we welded in some expanded metal. And what that does allows water to escape and to dry out, but also dirt that will inevitably come from the auger up above through the crack. And I've seen these completely filled and then they get wet and they don't dry out and they rot everything off. Now the other thing that I have to do, we cleaned all of this up with a wire wheel and taped everything off, and we primed and painted this with Rust-Oleum. And wanted to get as much thick paint in here as we can because we don't want this rusting out and causing us problems for the near future. And this should slow the corrosion down and should make it very good in here. So that is our plan for here. We got to get everything cleaned up and the bearings fitted. So that's what we'll work on next.
Unfortunately, this old Google Pixel 3 phone that we are recording this on is having some major problems, so these next few clips do not have any audio. You can see here that Charles is putting spacers into making sure that the gears mesh properly and that they roll through each tooth in a good fashion. Audio picks up in a couple of tracks. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe if you've made it this far in the video.
Everything is going together. We've got this all fitted and ready to go. But when we got just to try to tighten it down, one of the old bolts was already twisted off. So we just barely got it in. We were able to slide it back off, but now we got to get it out of the sprocket. It has two of these to hold it down. Set screw with a lock nut. This is all good to go in here. I'm going to put on the new cover. Continuing on with the unloading mechanism, these gears are in nice shape. This is at the top. Now I can't turn them because I have everything connected down below. There is a little bit of play on the shaft like that other one had down there, but I don't think that'll be an issue. This does move this way though. I think that just comes from shimming, shim stock. Alright, all I have to do is put on the safety shield back here. I do run this one. Everything here checked out good. We got all this cleaned. All this is good to go in here. I think someone might have been in here. I found this bolt loose, 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 and loose. So, don't know for sure. That would have been the back plate on the auger. All the bearings are in good order. This chain, I needed to take the half link out. We got all our adjustment back. And so all I got to do is button it up. And we are done with the unloading system. So I will button that up, and that will conclude this video. Like, share, and subscribe.